Good morning. Welcome. This is Keelin coming at you. Today is Thursday, and this week's topic is listening. And Monday we went over manners. Tuesday we went over meditation. Yesterday we went over mentoring and life coaching. And today I'm going to talk about Toastmasters. And if you don't know what Toastmasters is, I'll just give you a little bit of a background. It's a public speaking group. Hello? This thing on? Hello? If you want to learn how to speak in public, it's a great place. The one that I found is in Laguna Beach, and each club has a mission. And my club's mission is a tribe of transformation. And it's just, our president calls it an incubator. And we get to basically grow in a safe space and speak about whatever really is dear to us. And I went to Toastmasters because I knew I had a lot to say. However, what I've gotten out of Toastmasters is the skill of listening. So we often have a lot to say, but just like when I was talking about meditation the other day, in order to be able to say our truths, a lot of times we have to be a good listener. And that's what I really have learned by going to these meetings once a week is every time you go into a meeting, almost everyone gets a role or a chance to speak in public because there's usually about 20 of us in the room. And the more you go, the more it becomes more like a family, right? So once you walk into the Toastmasters room, you're greeted, and then you have a role. So there could be something like awe counters. You notice that I say and like. I notice it too. It drives me crazy. That's one of the reasons I'm in Toastmasters is because they call me out on it. There's also an improv game called Table Topics. And there's a question that's presented. And you get to speak for a minute or two on whatever that topic is. So I talk about Toastmasters because there was a lot of mystery behind it before I went, and I didn't really understand it. So the idea is Toastmasters, so we toast a glass to you. And it was actually founded almost 100 years ago here in Orange County. And the idea was to get business people together to be able to speak better in public, right? So how many times have you been called to speak in a meeting and you kind of clam up? Or maybe you're just in an interview for a job and you have to kind of think quickly on your feet. I mean, I do these Facebook Lives, so I have to use a skill to know what I'm going to talk to you guys about. And I learned that skill and I've refined it in Toastmasters. So as an artist and a writer, I already know kind of the basics of how to write a good story. So I start with, the overarching theme, and I go and I tell you about that theme, and then we do a recap. Well, that's what I learned in Toastmasters as well through speaking. So all these skills get to be refined. And what happens when you go to Toastmasters is that you also become more comfortable in public settings. So let's say you have the honor of being a maid of honor or a best man at a wedding. And so many people, are just so excited for that, but the dreaded toast. What am I going to say? Oh my God. Toastmasters is a great place to go and learn how to speak. And what I really love about my club specifically is that everyone is so supportive and we all mentor each other and mentee. And what I learned through mentoring there in the last 6 months is that you refine your listening skills as a mentor. And no matter who the person is that mentoring you, you can always learn from them. So maybe someone younger than me is mentoring me. And I get so excited about that because then I get to learn about technology and new music and things like that. And then sometimes I have the honor of mentoring someone older than me, and they also get to learn, and I get to learn from them. So it's that cycle of connection that I am so drawn to as well. And the other cool thing about Toastmasters is that it creates a huge community. This last weekend, I went to what they call is a LACE training, and it's for the officers of the club to go and train and speak to other people in the area. And I've been in Toastmasters since last October, and I went to this training. It was my second one, and I knew so many people, which was really awesome. You know, it's a really pretty tight-knit community. And they're also open to new ideas and new styles of speaking. So Toastmasters has a very specific way of creating and then presenting on stage. But they opened the door to a TED Talk, and a TED Talk coach, really. And she presented her client who gave us his TED Talk. And she then, kind of explained the differences between the Toastmasters and the TED. So I love that they are connecting the dots through different styles. Because if you watch a TED Talk, it's very, on the circle, and it's very one, it's about you and me connecting. And in Toastmasters, it's more about being comfortable in the space you're in and engaging and speaking, things like that. So I love that they are so open to new ideas and new formats. And I'll tell you a little story about the connection of Toastmasters as well. I was in Tijuana a couple months ago with my friend Catherine, and we walked into this. It was a family restaurant, just really small, and it almost looked like a club. And when we walked in, they were kind of trepidatious to us. I've got the pink hair, and we might have looked a little mischievous because we kind of are. And we walked in, and we were just killing some time before we went to go get massages. And we sat down. Catherine went to the bathroom. When she came back, she said, "Kiki, look." And over the bar, there was a Toastmasters International sign. And I was like, oh, and I was so excited. So I brought up my phone, and the woman who, she was kind of like standoffish, she came over, and I was like, look. And I was showing on my phone, like, my speeches. And oh my God, like, her whole personality changed. And she was like, oh, table topics is tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. She's speaking in Spanish, so Catherine had to translate for me because my Spanish is un poquito. But, it was just, she was hugging me, and we're in a Facebook friends now. I'll tag her in this video. It was just so awesome. So you can just go really to any city, and there's at least one Toastmasters chapter in your city. And my message to you guys is if you feel nervous about public speaking, which 98% of us do, and you realize that there's a need for it, which 98% of us actually do, you need to speak to clients, or you need to speak to someone in the grocery store, whatever, that speaking skill really comes in handy. Go check out a meeting. They encourage you to go check out a couple and then become a member of one or a few. Some of the Toastmasters that I know are actually part of a couple different clubs because they offer different things. There's one in the area that's a wine and dinner. One's a word master. Ours is a tribe of transformation, so we have a lot of life coaches in it. And ours is really diverse. I love that. So there are these meetings all over, and it's not scary. It's actually really, really inviting. And you might think it's weird because everyone's so nice, but it's because the atmosphere in there is really about encouragement. It's not about taking, it's really about generosity, and it's about listening. Because again, what I learned is that when I go to these meetings, I might do a speech, which is 5 minutes long. But for the rest of the hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to other people's stories and what they have to say. And I learn so much. Every time I learn personal things, I learn about things that interest other people that I never knew about. It's really great because listening's almost more. It's about the listening than it is about the speaking. So if you guys have any questions about Toastmasters, please let me know. If you need a little push to go to one of the meetings, let me know. I'm happy to kind of hold your hand and help you find a meeting, whatever. But go. Just check it out. Just, it's a free event that you can just go and see if it's for you. And again, there's different meetings all over. And it's really about building more community. So if you feel a little isolated, if you move to a new town, this is a great way to go and meet people and network. I found really great people within the entire community of Toastmasters. And it's not weird. It's not cultish. It's just a bunch of people learning how to speak and learning how to listen. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know your thoughts, if I was clear, if you want help with the Toastmasters meeting. And if you live in the area, come check out our Toastmasters meeting. It's every Thursday night at 6 p.m. In Laguna Beach. And if you want, you can just Google it and it'll tell you the address. But if you want more information, hit me up. It's really rad. I love it. But a lot of the meetings are actually first thing in the morning, like at 7 a.m. So a lot of options out there. And I hope this helps. So tomorrow, I'm going to one of my favorite events. It's called Creative Mornings. There's a chapter here in Orange County. I have a buddy that I go with once a month. We go and listen to a keynote speaker, and it starts at 8 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick live from there, recapping the week of everything we talked about. M was the theme, right? It's all about listening. And we'll wrap it up. And then next week, my focus is going to be on America, because we're celebrating this beautiful birth of this amazing country. So thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Air hugs for now. See you tomorrow. Bye.